Ask you something real quick. What if I told you Drake didn't drop 3 albums to break records, he dropped 3 albums to break out? Yeah, you heard me. The boy from the 6 just pulled off the sneakiest escape plan in music history, and nobody caught it. 43 songs at midnight wasn't a flex. It was a double. He obliterated the charts, humiliated his rivals, and walked straight out the front door of the biggest label on earth. And Lucian Grainge? Bro really thought he had Drake locked in a cage forever. Before we get into it, like, subscribe, don't miss it. Aubrey Drake Graham. Yes, that Drizzy. Dropped 3 full-length albums titled Iceman, Habibti, and Maid of Honour on May 15, 2026, uploaded simultaneously to Spotify and Apple Music at the stroke of midnight following his 4th Iceman livestream episode. Universal Music Group really thought this was just another rollout. Clearly they didn't read the fine print in their own contract. Now let's dig into the receipts that expose why this wasn't an album drop. It was a corporate coup. Alright y'all, let me walk you through the paper trail because this is where it gets wild. Y'all catch that? He named the CEO of Universal Music Group, by name, on wax, while actively suing him. In the 40+ years I've been watching this industry, I've never seen an artist this bold with a signed contract still on the table. Bruh really said, I'm the golden goose, and then took the eggs with him. Now flip to the courtroom side. Back in January 2025, Drake filed a defamation suit against UMG alleging the label promoted Not Like Us in a way that spread false and defamatory claims about him. Lucian Grainge personally filed a declaration calling Drake's claims, quote, farcical and groundless, and swore under oath he'd never even heard Not Like Us until after it was already released. When I read that filing, I was like, bro, you're the CEO of the biggest music company on earth and you're claiming you didn't know about the biggest diss track of the decade. That's the flex of a man who's scared. Then look at hip-hop analyst Dalton Higgins, the guy who literally wrote the book on Drake and teaches university courses about him. The morning after the triple drop, he said plainly, he recently tried to sue his record label, UMG, and reportedly feels a level of disdain for its president Lucian Grainge. There's no other way to explain this. When a scholar who has studied Drake for a decade says there's no other explanation, you listen. And then there's Spotify's own words. In their official correction on X after the streaming controversy blew up, they admitted the initial streams review process was completed manually, causing 2 different tracks titled Iceman to get combined. A $1 trillion platform. In 2026, counting streams by hand. Nah, y'all can't tell me the system isn't rigged. When I read that apology, I was done. That's the kind of oops that costs another artist their whole career. Now that we got the quotes on the table, let's connect the dots that nobody else is drawing. Here's where the real chess match reveals itself. That lawsuit? Filed January 2025. That first Iceman livestream episode? Launched July 2025. Exactly 6 months into the litigation. That's not coincidence, that's coordination. Remember the ice sculpture? Dropped in downtown Toronto on April 20, 2026. The exact same week UMG's appeal response was due in the Southern District of New York. While the label's lawyers were drafting briefs, Drake had the city of Toronto on fire literally. The fire chief had to invoke the Fire Protection and Prevention Act because fans were trying to melt a 25-foot block of ice with flammable liquids. UMG really thought Drake would sit quietly during litigation? That's the move of executives who forgot who they signed. That Pinocchio character chasing Drake through Manchester in episode 2? Show up on your legal calendar. That's the exact narrative device Drake's lawyers used in filings to describe how the industry allegedly manipulated public perception. Drake didn't just put the lawsuit in the lyrics. He put it in the visuals. He put it in the MERCH. He put it in the rollout. And Lucian's team didn't catch a single frame of it. Terrible instincts, bruh. The Iceman episodes? 4 separate cinematic drops across 2 continents over 10 months. That's not a marketing campaign. That's establishing market value for a free agency negotiation. Every episode was a proof of concept. Look how much attention I command without a label push. By episode 3, he was pulling nearly 2 million live viewers on a weeknight. Any smart executive would have locked him down mid-campaign. Lucian didn't. That's when you know the label lost the plot. His statement landed exactly 15 months after Not Like Us won 5 Grammys including Record of the Year. That's not petty, that's patience. Drake waited for the culture to celebrate Kendrick, then dropped 43 tracks in a single night to reset the news cycle. Lucian really thought Drake was cooked after 2024? Bro, that man was in the lab building an exit strategy. And the biggest overlooked detail? The joint project with Party Next Door, Dollarexy Dollarongs for You, dropped in 2025 as a collaboration, meaning it may not have counted toward his solo album obligation. So while everyone thought Drake was warming up, He was actually preserving his contract escape route. That's the move of an artist who talked to lawyers before he talked to producers. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Now check this out. Nobody's zooming in on the album count itself. 3 albums. Not 2. Not 4. 3. Why does that number matter? Because standard major label recording contracts run in cycles of remaining album commitments. When an artist owes their label X number of solo LPs, dropping multiple bodies of work at once can fulfill that quota in a single release cycle. That specific number 3 is the forensic fingerprint of a contract exit strategy. Lucian's legal team really didn't see this coming? That's embarrassing. Zoom in on one word. Iceman. Why that alias? Iceman in mob movies are the guys who handle cold, calculated hits without emotion. That's not a nickname, that's a thesis. Drake's positioning himself as the artist who executed the smoothest hit on his own label. And the cold imagery running through every episode? Ice doesn't melt on its own, it takes heat. The Pinocchio character represents deception. Ice represents composure. Drake saying, "You lied about me and I stayed cold about it." If Lucian had half a legal team paying attention, he would have caught the metaphor months ago. Freeze-framed the ice sculpture stunt. That was 25 feet of solid ice. Do you know how much a custom 25-foot ice sculpture costs to fabricate, transport, and install in the middle of downtown Toronto with municipal permits? We're talking 6 figures minimum. That money didn't come from a label marketing budget. It came from Drake's OVO camp. That's an artist proving he can self-fund a global rollout. That's establishing free agency valuation in public. UMG watched him do it and did nothing. That's the problem when your label doesn't read between the lines. Now zoom in on Janice. Not a random name. In fan theories circulating on Reddit, Janice is being decoded as a stand-in for a specific type of gatekeeper. A curator, a playlist editor, a label liaison. The STFU part isn't aimed at a person you can Google. It's aimed at the institutional voice. Drake didn't diss an artist on that record. He dissed the machinery. And the fact that Janice STFU became his 14th career #1 single? Poetic. He passed Michael Jackson's #1 count with a song telling the industry to shut up. That's a hidden victory inside a public one. And the legal fine point everybody's missing. Drake's original bot streaming allegation against UMG was quietly withdrawn after Universal provided contradicting evidence. But look at the lyric he still put on wax, the one about 100 million streams that just vanished with no questions. That's Drake preserving the argument in the culture even after losing it in the courtroom. Public opinion doesn't need discovery motions. If Lucian understood how narratives work, he'd have settled a year ago. Now let's see how the media covered this. Here's where the outlets split into completely different camps. Billboard framed the story as pure history, Drake breaking Michael Jackson's #1 singles record, monopolizing the top 3 of the Billboard 200 for the first time in 70 years, the biggest R&B/hip-hop first week of 2026. Very clean, very sanitized, very keep advertisers happy. Nothing about the lawsuit, nothing about the contract angle, just the trophies. Rolling Stone took a completely different lens. They leaned into the industry politics interpretation, pushing the free agency angle, quoting Higgins directly. That's the version where Drake isn't just a chart king. He's a corporate rebel. Same set of facts. 2 totally different narratives. Then now Toronto and Showbiz 411 went the hometown hero route, framing the triple drop as Drake asserting Canadian independence from American corporate control. Same receipts. Third narrative. Watch how the same facts get spun 3 ways depending on who's holding the pen. Now some Drake skeptics are saying this whole thing is manufactured hype, that the drop-off in week 2 proves the release was inflated first-day novelty. Some of them are the same folks who thought Not Like Us was gonna end Drake's career forever. How's that prediction holding up now that he's got 15 #1 albums and 14 #1 singles? The receipts don't lie, and the counter-narrative is reaching. The rebuttal to the manufactured hype argument writes itself. If the release was fake momentum, why did it fulfill what appears to be a contractual obligation? Why did Spotify have to publicly correct itself? Why did Grainge personally file a sworn declaration? Real fake moves don't force real executive responses. The framing that dismisses this as noise ignores the paper trail entirely. But here's what nobody is saying. Here's the mainstream narrative every outlet is running with right now. Drake broke records, Kendrick stayed quiet, the beef continues. Very neat. Very digestible. Very wrong. Here's what they won't tell you. This whole 3-album drop was never about Kendrick Lamar. It was never even really about the beef. This was Drake weaponizing the industry politics angle to execute the most sophisticated contract negotiation in modern music history, And he used Kendrick's shadow as the smokescreen to do it. Think about it. If Drake had dropped one album with no diss content, the story would have been Drake responds after a year of silence. Boring headline. Modest first week. Standard rollout. But by weaponizing the ongoing Kendrick narrative, by putting Kenny's name in the center of the marketing conversation, Drake guaranteed that every music journalist, every podcast, every Twitter account would cover the release at maximum volume. He turned the beef into free promotion for his own exit strategy. That's not petty. That's puppet master level manipulation. Lucian Grainge is a puppet in this play, and he doesn't even realize the strings are cut. The label thought they were protecting their asset by drawing out litigation. What they didn't realize is that every court filing gave Drake more ammunition for his lyrics, more content for his rollout, more validation for the free me from my label narrative. The industry needed Drake to look defeated after 2024, and he gave them exactly the setup they needed to underestimate him. That's the trap. The historical pattern here should be obvious to anyone who's studied this game. Look at what Prince did to Warner Brothers in the 90s, writing slave on his face, changing his name to a symbol, flooding the market to fulfill contractual obligations and walk. Drake didn't invent this playbook. He upgraded it. Prince used protest. Drake used product. Prince wrote on his face. Drake wrote in the charts. Same move 20 years later, executed at streaming era scale. And UMG is repeating the same mistakes Warner made, trying to hold an artist bigger than the label itself. We've seen how that movie ends. The cultural impact angle is where this gets scary for major labels. If Drake successfully walks from UMG after this drop, every A-list artist with label frustration is watching. Taylor Swift already re-recorded her catalog. Kanye already went independent. If Drake, the most commercially valuable rapper alive, walks out the door too, the major label system as we know it is on borrowed time. Lucian's legacy might not be the executive who ran UMG for 20 years. It might be the executive who lost Drake. That's a career-defining L that no severance package can fix. Now here's the psychological warfare piece nobody's discussing. Drake didn't respond to Kendrick with a diss track album. He responded with a lifestyle flex. 3 albums. Chart records. Historic numbers. Kendrick played checkers with Not Like Us. One perfect song, one perfect moment. Drake is playing chess with an entire commercial ecosystem. Whether or not Kendrick won the diss battle culturally, Drake is winning the structural battle. He's rewriting the rules while Kenny's still holding the trophy from the last round. That's the problem with declaring victory too early. The war moves on without you. And the authenticity angle? People keep saying Drake's numbers don't have staying power because his recent number ones drop off after 1 week. But that argument assumes the goal is longevity. What if the goal was proof of value for a contract negotiation? A 1-week number one that fulfills your album quota and demonstrates your commercial ceiling to future business partners is worth more than a 12-week number one that keeps you tied to a label you hate. Drake isn't chasing radio nostalgia. He's chasing freedom. If the critics understood the game, they'd realize the drop-off is a feature, not a bug. The industry is rewriting history to make it look like Drake needed this comeback to prove his relevance. Nah bruh. Drake needed this comeback to prove his leverage. Relevance is for artists chasing hits. Leverage is for artists chasing contracts. And Drake just made himself the most sought-after free agent in the history of recorded music. And that's the truth they won't tell you. So what happens next? Mark my words, within the next 12 months, Drake is gonna announce a landmark deal that reshapes the industry. Whether it's a distribution partnership, a joint venture, or a full independent launch through OVO, the announcement is coming. When it drops, Lucian Grainge is gonna be looking desperate trying to spin it as an amicable transition. Now we all know what really happened. UMG is gonna lose their most valuable asset and try to save face with a press release nobody believes. Any executive with real instincts would have locked Drake down in 2023. Lucian didn't. Now he's about to eat the biggest L of his career. When Drake goes independent, expect him to immediately partner with a tech company, Apple, Spotify, or even a Saudi-backed streaming venture. That partnership is gonna dwarf anything Jay-Z did with Tidal because Drake actually has active commercial dominance, not just legacy leverage. The boy from Toronto is about to write a business school case study. And the industry isn't ready. If Drake doesn't walk immediately, watch what happens instead. UMG is gonna panic negotiate a renewal deal at a number that no rapper has ever seen. We're talking a potential 9-figure guarantee just to keep him under the umbrella. And Lucian is gonna have to eat every farcical and groundless word he said in his sworn declaration. Bro's gonna be signing checks to the same artist he called a liar in federal court. Try explaining that one at your next board meeting. Even in this scenario, Drake still wins. Because a forced renewal at record-breaking numbers is a public admission that the label was wrong. Every artist on the UMG roster is gonna see that deal and demand renegotiations. The domino effect is gonna gut Lucian's balance sheet. Opposition isn't smart enough to see the trap, and that's exactly why he's about to walk into it. Now zoom out. Looking at the bigger picture, this moment is gonna be remembered as the death of the traditional major label deal. 5 years from now, when historians write about the streaming era, they're gonna point to May 15, 2026 as the day the balance of power shifted from labels to artists. Drake's 3-album drop is gonna be studied the same way Napster is studied, as a rupture point. Lucian's legacy? Cooked. He's gonna be remembered as the CEO who tried to muscle Drake and lost. Every mid-tier artist coming up is gonna use the Drake exit playbook. Flood the market, prove your value, walk out the door. The gatekeepers are watching their gates get kicked in, and there's nothing they can do about it. And Kendrick? When he eventually responds, because I still believe he will, he's gonna be responding to an artist who's operating from a completely different playing field. Kenny's still fighting an artistic battle. Drake already moved to the business battlefield. That's a level of chess most rappers never even see. Whatever happens, one thing's clear: Lucian Grainge already lost. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed uncovering the real story, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss when we expose what everyone else is too scared to say. Ring that bell for notifications. And if you want more truth bombs like this, click on one of these videos next. Trust me, you'll want to see what we found.